I have a baseball story for you. Maybe one of my favorite stories to tell. When I was a little boy, I used to go to Cleveland to see my grandparents and other relatives, and my dad would always take us to Cleveland Indians games. And this stadium was so big, it held like 80,000 people. But the Indians weren't very good, and so they had about 7,000 people there watching the game. So you're a little boy and you walk in there and you think, there's 70 some thousand empty seats. It appears that you're certainly going to get a foul ball at the game. And as a boy is my favorite dream. I always took a mitt with me and I dreamt of getting a baseball at the game. At that time in life and where I was raised and how I was raised, and you couldn't just get a Major League Baseball. You couldn't get on the internet and just order a Major League Baseball. And it just felt like it would be so epic to hold one in my hands and to get one from a Major League game. Every game that I went to, I took a mitt, I never got a ball. One day I was probably about 10. My brother and I went with my uncle and my dad to a game in Cleveland, sat right behind the first base dugout about 10 rows. And my brother and I started to get antsy. There's no balls coming over here. So we looked out to right field, and way out in the right field home run territory was just a bunch of empty seats. And we thought, well, let's go out there. Out there, there's going to be a ball coming our way. So we went out there for a couple innings and nothing came our way. But when I went back to join my uncle and my dad, when I went back to sit down, my uncle was laughing at me. He said, "Mark, it landed on your seat. A foul ball landed on your seat." And it bounced up, and the guy right behind me has got the baseball. And it felt like I had missed, like I have missed my chance in life. Doesn't life have a way of making us feel like we have to be at the exact spot at the exact time to get the thing, or we've missed it? Doesn't life do that to us? This is what happens when we think we control the results of our life. We then decide what the results should be and then go try to make it happen. But in our attempt to make our life happen, what might we miss? Maybe the mistake to begin with is thinking that we do decide what the result must be. So fast forward, maybe about 11, 12 years later, now I'm back at that same stadium, but the circumstances are different. It's the last 3 games ever at that stadium. It's a nostalgic stadium where Babe Ruth had played and other great old-time ball players. Because it's the last 3 games ever, now the place is packed. Probably 72,000 people, no empty seats. I'm sitting in left field home run territory, right beside my wife. She is seated right to my left, and to her left is the aisle. My wife at the time, she's pregnant with our first son Matthew. She's probably 6 or so months pregnant. So she's right there on the aisle where she's got more space. For the White Sox stepped up a guy named Bo Jackson. At the time, he may have been the greatest athlete on planet Earth. Played football and baseball. It was incredible. He hits a line drive that's coming right at us. And I've got my mitt. I'm carrying a mitt with me to the game still. And the ball is coming at us, and it ends up being right beside my wife in the aisle. And I can't get through her pregnant body to get to the ball. The guy right behind her reaches down and catches a Bo Jackson home run. Once again, my chance was missed. Life has a way of making us think we have to be at an exact place of our own doing. We have to make it happen. I have to get myself at the exact spot at the exact time to get the exact thing that I decide must come from my life. Let me tell you one more story. Probably a year and a half-ish later, one of my favorite pictures of me with my son Matthew, who is now about 1.5 years old, and I'm taking him to his first ball game. And it's a great thrill for me. He's got this cute little baseball cap on and a matching baseball outfit that a little boy would wear, little red shorts and a striped gray shirt. It says baseball on it. And I'm carrying him across the street, and we're getting to the gate. And there's this big wrought iron gate that you can look down and you can see the field, because the field was below ground level. And we're standing at the gate waiting for it to open, and batting practice was happening, and there was a ball hit that landed up on the concourse. A security guard picked it up, and there's a large amount of people outside of the gates. Security guard comes right over to me and my son Matthew, and as I hold him in my arms, he hands the ball to my son Matthew. And I think to myself, he has no idea. Matthew, you have no idea what's happening to you right now. The dream of my life you've just experienced. And you did nothing to get this. You didn't even bring a mitt. You don't know how to catch. You're only here because I'm carrying you. And there he is holding in Major League Baseball. But see, friend, that experience right there represents what life is really all about. It's not about me deciding this great end result and then me crushing it and making it happen, me getting at the right spot at the right time to get that thing that I feel like my life is supposed to result in. Life is about being a person that lives the kind of life that you help someone else experience something. That day, my great honor was to hold my son and carry him to a game that he might experience something. When we stop pursuing so hard something we feel like that our life must result in, then we become someone that's much more fruitful. Instead, we become fruitful as we use our life to help other people experience something. Think back 1.5 or 2 years before that when the Bo Jackson ball was hit right next to my wife. And think about the image of me seeing the ball and thinking, I gotta get that ball. But my wife, my pregnant wife is in the way. Think about that. My pregnant wife is in the way. Without stewardship, we can end up chasing the wrong thing and miss the things that we really want that might be right underneath our nose. When we give up on our desire to decide the results of our life and then force them to happen, we can be set free from the burden of thinking, I missed it. I wasn't at the seat at the time when my opportunity came. We can let go of the pressure and the burden of thinking we've missed it. And we can just start showing up really boldly every day of our life in all that we do. And instead of being frustrated with trying to make results happen, we become fruitful as we are faithful at showing up, and things begin to happen through our life. But that only happens as we give up our instinct to control the results of our life.